Now you kind of told us how you prepared to be a judge. What are the qualities that makes a good judge, a judge's judge?
I suppose there's a couple of things. One is respect. So you have to respect the system. You have to respect the people who are involved in the system, whether it's a criminal case or a civil matter. Patience is probably another good word that I would say a good judge has. Those are I guess those are the two that I think of that I need to concentrate on every day when I hear cases. Knowledge of the law is very important, and that's the other thing about being a judge is I try to follow the law. Not all judges do that. Sometimes they decide I'm going to do my own thing, because nobody's really looking over your shoulder, except for the Court of Appeals possibly, but that requires the parties to appeal to the Court of Appeals. But again, following the law, being consistent, that's a big thing too. So that, and they go hand in hand, meaning follow the law allows you to be consistent. So you don't, if you don't follow the law in one case, and then the next case comes along, similar situation, and you got to remember, well, what did I do in that one? Or the attorney says, Judge, on that last one, this is how you handle this case, and why aren't you handling it the same way?
Sure.
So when I first started this job, that was one of the things that I thought I need to do, and some other judges had told me that just be consistent, and follow, but you can be consistent if you follow the law. So.
Now, you've been involved in many cases. So are there times when the law is a little on the gray side, and you have to kind of keep track of that case because to be consistent, and how would you do that?
I'm not sure the law is so gray. I mean, usually you can find support by researching the issue, and usually it's in one direction, one side. It's not because that's what the appellate system is about. If there's one court of appeals that decides it one way and another court of appeals that decides it another way, that's the case that goes to the Ohio Supreme Court.
Okay.
So ultimately, that court is going to make a decision as to which way they want to go, and so I wouldn't say that there's a lot of gray in law. From my perspective, usually there is one way versus another that a higher court has decided. So it's called precedent.
Okay,
so
all right.
I'm bound by the law from the Ninth District Court of Appeals, and then if the Ninth District Court of Appeals has a conflict with another appellate district, then the case goes to the Ohio Supreme Court. And they make their way there on a regular basis, because that's what the Ohio Supreme Court does, is they decide cases. They don't have to decide any case that they don't want to receive. So they make the decision, okay, that's a case we want to deal with. Even though you appeal to the Supreme Court, they don't have to take the case. They can decide this is not something that is in conflict. There's settled law on this issue, and we're not going to relook at this case.
Understand.
Yeah.
What matters on a kind of do you preside over as a judge in Avon Lake? I guess I'm talking about civil and criminal.
Right. Yeah. Most of the cases we deal with are on the criminal side, and when I say criminal, I mean traffic and criminal. The majority of cases are cases that are, well, they're all misdemeanors, but the majority of cases are first-degree misdemeanors, and that would be an OVI offense, that would be a theft offense, that would be a domestic violence offense. I would say that's the majority of the cases that we deal with. The other cases are, so misdemeanor, the first degree is the highest, misdemeanor second degree, third degree, fourth degree, minor misdemeanor. The minor misdemeanors are traffic offenses, where there's speed, red light violation, those kinds of things. Fourth degree misdemeanor example would be disorderly conduct, persisting or intoxication, There aren't a lot of misdemeanors of the third and second degree. There's more misdemeanors of the first degree, which again are the thefts and the domestic violence and the OVIs. And again, those cases are in the high percentage of cases that we deal with. I move on to the civil side. So we traffic and criminal, but then we also do civil cases. But there's a limit. It's a dollar limit of $15,000.
Okay.
And most of those are credit card cases. So
Okay.
people don't pay their credit card bill, and they get sued. And usually it's in the range of $1,000 to $10,000. And unfortunately, most people don't respond to those lawsuits. So there's a lawsuit filed. The party who's making the claim gets service upon the defendant, so they find out where you are, and they send the U.S. Postal Service to you, and with a certified letter, and either you receive it or you don't receive it. But in any event, because you have the opportunity to get it, you're served, and therefore you have a responsibility to respond to the lawsuit. Most people who are sued for a credit card debt don't respond. They ignore it, and they are then subject to what's called a default judgment. And most of the credit card cases are resolved with a default judgment, so there's no trial. The party who's making the suit just files a motion for default. Attached to it is their evidence, and then the court makes a decision as to whether the evidence is sufficient, and then we grant judgment, and then it's a matter of collecting after that.
And then it's just so is it better for someone to respond when they're?
Yes, yeah, it usually is because they can resolve it. The companies that are making these claims usually aren't the credit card company. It's a company that the credit card company has sold the claim to for pennies on the dollar, possibly. And so they want to just get something out of it. So the best thing to do is respond and negotiate. And unfortunately, some people can't. They can't even offer any money. But it's again better to at least know what's going on by responding, participating in the discussions. Usually, it can be resolved at a lower number. So I would suggest to anybody who does have to face that, come to court.
I think those are words to the wise.
Yeah.